Welcome everyone, this is Mike Hamilton from Trade Easy Way, and going to look at the week ahead. I've got non-farm payroll US jobs on Friday. UK's obviously got the 4-day Easter weekend ahead, and you're looking at the dollar here, the US dollar on a daily chart. So we've broken some resistance here. We've broken above the November 25 and the March and this March resistance. So onward and upward. Next stop is 101.40. So great strength in the dollar. If you look at gold, so the strength in the dollar has definitely pegged the gold back. Yeah, we can't get above this level here. Excuse me. So I'm anticipating any move into 47.50 or 48.70 would make more sense. A move back into February's resistance could see this rolling over. That's assuming we get there, because we are really struggling here. We've gone sideways last week. We opened with a hard drop down to that 40.90 and then went nowhere. So this is a bear flag. A bear flag would look like that, where the highs are selling. The lows are holding, but just, so any push higher gets sold into, and this is just going to roll over and we'll get another leg down. It's similar to what happened here. This looked like, so we had a big shunt down, pushed back into resistance. Couldn't break back up above 55.27 and then rolled over. So that's what we could be looking at here. Okay, so if we close above 49, sorry, 46, 47 anytime soon, that could lift it. But then you've got all this overhead resistance above on the gold. So what if you're in miners, then consider your position, because gold at the very least is fragile. If we stay with the commodities, let's look at oil. So you've got all that strength in the dollar, which would normally give us a low oil number, and here we are at 101, $101, looking like we can see 105 and potentially back up to that spike high up there at 115. And wheat. So this suits me to have a strong dollar with strong wheat because I'm in an ETF that's dollar based. So we broke out here in early Feb. All the pullbacks at the moment are getting bought. You can see the 50 and the 89-day average opening up. So any push back into 5.85 or just even $6 could see this lift and go to 675 plus. If we start closing under 570, then this could all be over. Indices, let's start with the FTSE. So FTSE has just tucked itself right underneath the average here. Let's take the 89 off because I don't normally use that. Right, so we're just approaching the 50-day average here. So we have had, let's get the pen. We've had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave down. So if we get a three wave correction, a 1, 2, 3 wave correction into that resistance, which is 10,500, and then fail, this is going to, that distance there is going to repeat itself here. So you could be looking at 9,000 or lower. So at the moment, little head and shoulders here. And if we pop up and hold 10.5, then we can get back up to the highs and go beyond. But my best case scenario is going to go back into 10.5 and then get another leg down. I would take that back if, like I said, if we close above 10.5 and stay above 10.5, then I would suggest we can get another leg up, but that's my best case scenario. Let's look at the Nasdaq. Nasdaq is really struggling. I've seen a huge drop off from 26.25. So any push back into 24, I'm currently 23, maybe a little higher than that. We could get back to 25 if there is any kind of decent bounce here. Then I think we'll get another leg down, come and find 21 and ultimately 20. So the key here is with any instrument, any market, if you're under the 50-day average, then moves into the 50-day average are normally sold into. So 24.5 would take us back into the 25 average, 50-day average, and see that leg down again. If we can get above 24 and hold above 24 and ultimately close, open and close by 25, then we're up again. We're pushing away back, but everything is red. Everything is reading red at the moment, so just take that on board. Right, let's look at stocks. Let's look at the ones that we've been covering. Avon Tech, defense stock. This is a very, very interesting chart here. So we, from early Feb 11th, popped up to 19, dropped back underneath the Feb support. So I would, the reason why I'm not getting into this is because I just think we might want to come back to the May 25 low. May 25 low would put it down there at 1560. The main support is down there at 15. I would love to see that down at 15. Volume supports lower numbers. We're not seeing any, the buyers do not appear to be popping back into that. So I'm steering clear. Let's look at vulnerable stocks like SSP Group with their food outlets in airports. Looks lower. A big push up here on the 25th. Was it the 23rd? We're getting sold it. Any little mini rallies here is getting sold into. So I think we could easily come and see 150 here. At that point, if we come down to 150, oil stabilizes and things look better, then I would get into that. Otherwise, I'm not touching it at the moment. Let's keep on that theme, on the airport theme, look at EasyJet. So we had, looks like the shorts cover their positions down there on Monday 23rd, but we're sinking low again. If we touch underneath 338, 330, then I think we're going to come and see 275. So I'm not interested in buying stocks like this at the moment. Something like Sabre, I don't get it right all the time, which is I'm surprised. Don't think you'll be surprised to hear that because nobody does. So I took this off here at 130, and it popped, literally started popping the next day, and went up there to 166. I'm just going to, again, I'm going to steer clear, but if you come and see 130 and hold, then I will get back into Sabre Insurance. In the meantime, I am avoiding it. Things like Money Supermarket had a sweet move up from 140 to 173, but yet it's a theme here, and the theme is any move, any pullbacks back up into the 50-day average, back up into resistance are getting sold into. So we are very bearish at the moment. So there will come a time when it's good to get back in the markets. And I don't know if that's days or weeks away or even months away. In the meantime, I'm buying defensive stuff. I'm buying commodities. and I'm selling indices like the Dow. Well, the Dow's the one I sell into at the moment. I don't normally touch the FTSE. All right, so things like if I flick through Domino Pizza, struggling. CRE, can't remember the name now, had a good run, but selling at resistance, looks lower. You get the picture. BT even. Yeah, BT is a good cash cow. So we've topped out at 220, 221. And we're above the 50-day average here. So today, well, last week 198 was bought, and here we are at 209. So if you, the safety stocks, well, there's no such thing as a safe stock, is there? But this is coming up. The volume is not great, but it is higher, and we're above the 50-day average. So this is a good one to try and pick up at £2.205 to see if we can get up to 240. Now, and this is what you want to look for. If the markets are weak and you've got a stock that's holding up, then that's got real relative strength. So make a note of all the stocks that are holding up at this particular point, because they are well worth looking at. Not looked at those two at the moment, Andy. I'll look at those in a minute. So this has all been recorded, so I've covered quite a lot. Covered the indices, dollar, commodities, weak stocks that are exposed like travel, airlines, and airport retailers, etc. Let's start. I'm just flicking through stocks that we have been monitoring. So Relx, my nemesis, my recent nemesis, dropped to 1995 on results, picked up to 2680. So we talked about this last week, or I think the other week, where this was likely to pull back, but if it held this pullback level here at 23.24, that's likely to pick up again. We are under the 50-day average, so you've got to be cautious with anything under the 50-day average. But the volume is picking up the last couple of days, so this pullback could be over, and we might be about to go back to 30 plus on that one. But as with any stock, take it easy. And next one, what are we going to look at? I'm in this one, Metals One. It's not doing a lot. Got in a little bit too. I was stopped out of this one. I was in it over here before it gapped down. I go into these cheapies, these penny stocks, very small size, because the risk-reward ratio is so healthy. So you don't need to fully boots with stock like this. But unlike in Metals One, they are investors in the mining industry, including uranium, I believe, from memory. So I like that one. IQE is doing right. Let's go to my current list. Here we go. So things like Rio. Right, this is a decent pullback. So we've recently seen, this is why I don't like buying high. What we've seen on, if you are interested in this stock, look at the last move. So the last real move was back in November. So what we've done here is we've come back into the ambush. That ratio down there that we've just tested on the 23rd, I've seen that come back in the ambush. Now, if you're interested in this, I would hang around and see if we can see 60, 62 again. That's a sweet move up, but I don't think that is ready to really power up. I would look for this. So here we had a good move up, pull back, move up, pull back before it went. So we've had a sweet move up. We've had a 1, 2, 3 wave correction, 1, 2, 3 wave push higher. So I would look for another 3 wave move back into support. That would be my strategy. That's my preference. But if you're in it, you're profitable, then well done. Stay put, manage it according to your own plan, and let's see how you go. But it's well worth looking at this. This is typically how I work. I'll measure the last big move and then measure the pullback and then jump in, but I've missed that one. But that's why I talked about buying pullbacks. Glencore has been more resistance, 492. Had this chart marked up for a while now with 550. It's not for me because there's a lot of resistance up here. So yeah, 570 is a lot of resistance. But anyway, that's what I would do. When stocks run, that's what I do. I would just wait, sit back and wait. Right, let's look at Shaw. Now, this is interesting. This has come down and created a potential buy signal on a lot of volume. So let's measure the main short banking. Sorry, let me just, okay, it won't let me bring it over. Okay, I'll do this. Right, should have done this in the first place. Right, so let's look at the first main move from its IPO. So we've come down to an extension there at 325. We've broken the extension, but we've now got volume. So the market's potentially buying this one. If you're interested, I would try and capture 305 with a stop under the 290 and then see if that one can pick up. That's on shore. Right, let's rattle through. Let's look at some US stuff. Netflix I've got into and got out, but contemplating getting back into that one. I'd love to see that get back to 80, 83 again. In fact, let's realign this. Excuse me. Let's look at the last big move. Yeah, so I would love to see that come back to 83, 80, 83. May not do it, but the volume is dropping off here, so I'm not convinced that it's got enough momentum. One to watch. Yeah, so we're beginning to see some volume in, these are great stocks, good AI related stocks. Big push up here on the 25th of Feb. We're sitting back in that. So to me, what I'm seeing here is I'm seeing impulse, pullback, wave 2, and if I'm right, wave 3 could easily take that. Oops, I'm messing this up. Could easily take that back into 15, 16 plus. Doesn't like workday is, and that's, I was going to say it's very divergent. It's not, but it is picking up on volume. So the market could be about to see a lift. Microsoft, yeah, no, steer clear. Marvel, pulling right back. Amazon, yeah, now look at this. I am getting very interested in Amazon down here now. So that little bar there is the Sunday open, yesterday's open. So I would love to see that go back to 1970, 19.5 on Amazon. I'm going to be very patient, especially as we're under the 50-day average. And we've got the main supports down there at 183. So I'm getting into, I'm just making sure that my watch list is sharper, up to date. Just sitting in predominantly cash at the moment. I'll show you what I am in right now. I am in BMNR, and potentially if this doesn't shape up, I need to get out. I'm slightly underwater here. I missed the opportunity to get out of that recent high, which I'm kicking. It hit that high after the close, but this is on probation because this could, under the 50-day average, losing volume, keeps closing lower. A lot of red on that chart. I may need to, my stop's quite close under here anyway. So not so long ago we were up there at 24.5. This is the big, the Ethereum miner. Bitstream immersion technology, I think they're called. Right, let's look at your ones. I can see the Dow's been dipping while we've been speaking. Right, let me, yeah, BP. Wow. So we pulled back on the 5th of March at 475, and here we are at 6. So this is storming ahead. If you're in it, great, sit tight. Volume continues to pick up on these highs. Now that's crucial. If any stock picks up on lower volume, be warned, momentum could be running out. If you want to pull back on this, I mean, ideally 550, but because the RSI is high, that's not to say it's too extended, it's to say it is extended. 585 may be the smallest pullback you're going to get, but let's look at the ratios. So if we go back to February 24, drop that back to April 25. Right, so next stop is 606 according to this. Of course, we're practically touching that anyway. If otherwise, 650, £7. Okay. What price will I look to get out? Well, I'm very short term at the moment, so personally, anything over £6, I'd be happy to get out on. But like I've just said, this could be heading for £650, £7. You know, the fact that it's coming up on volume suggests to me that this could just keep going. Oil, as we speak, is above 101. SQZ, what that is, that a square? That rings a bell. SQZ. Oh, there's another energy stock, right? Yeah, this is a good one. Yeah, so that is just coming into resistance as well. That £3 is the next target, and of course we're all bar touching that anyway. It could keep going. Again, this is coming up on volume, so the volume bars are increasing with the price, so it's getting chased up. So yeah, next stock could so easily be £3, £3.50, £4. The RSI is not extended at this stage. Volumes keep coming in, so it looks good. In fact, tell you what I'll do. Let me just range the last move. I take it from here. Right, so this is telling me, if I look at the shorter range, this is telling me that 301 and 317 are coming up. And the pullback is 288. That's what I'm seeing on that one. Let's look at a couple of ones. Talo is a stock to be avoided. I made a mistake on this one. Didn't do enough homework. These guys have been selling assets to try and reduce debt, but it is performing well. If you want a penny stock and you're prepared to risk, then 10 to 12p on that one with a potential to go back to 17 or 20. But this is higher risk. It's not a well-resourced organisation. Right, anything else that I'm looking at? Anything else you're looking at? Let's get back to my list. I'm increasingly keeping a close eye on US stuff at the moment. Camel. Remind me, what does Camel do? This is one of your watches, isn't it? Because that was a buy signal on the 23rd of March. Any bank stocks? Right, okay. Was obviously just looked at Shaw, so this Camel it's had a mighty fall, but the volume is coming down here. So right, let's flick through on Barclays. Looks good. This is clearly a lot of support here. Huge amount of volume came in on the 23rd. Yeah, this is the day that Trump came out and told us everything was sorted, isn't it? You know, I would try and pick up 350, 370. I would be very patient. You know, things are so rocky at the moment. I would look for some lower numbers on this. Yeah, I would try and pick 350. If things get really dodgy again, which is highly likely given that we've got quite extreme volatility here, I would like to pick up 350 on Barclays. I don't trust this 23rd of March bar. I think that's potentially a lot of short covering. So I'm interested in Barclays lower. Let's have a look at Lloyd's. How is that one bearing? A duplicate pattern, absolute duplicate pattern. So on this one, I would, you know what, I think on a bad day that could easily come in at 75, 80. So I'd be patient on that one. What's your view? That's my view. What's yours? What are you seeing? While you think about that, I'm just looking at AMD. Yeah, see, look at these good stocks. And mind you, these the earnings ratios on these were just ridiculous. You're looking at Lloyd's, okay. Well, I would try and be patient and pick up a nice low number on Lloyd's. I can see this one coming back to, this is AMD, chip maker AMD. Can see this one coming back to 166. You're in PAG, right? Paragon Banking. Right. Okay, well, if this can close above this level here this week, in the next few days, then I'll join you. What price did you get in on Paragon? The main launch pad was 639 on this one. So 878, right. So you got in 878. Right, you got in about there. Okay. Similar to Shore, right. Yeah, well, you certainly look as if, I mean, traditionally that is a good buy signal, a pin bar on volume, on key support. So at the moment, this looks like this could pick up and get you back in the black, but we need to close above 775, 28th of Jan, right. Okay, so you got in about, you got in on this red bar here. Okay. Let's take that away. Right. Well, let's see how this pans out, but it's based on that volume and that pin bar. This looks much better. Okay. Decent dividend stock, right. Good. Okay, well, I need to watch these with you as well. In the meantime, let me go back and see what the indices are doing. Where are we? Got 90 minutes. And Dow is still dropping. So I've got the Dow pegged at 44.5 here. If this continues to drop, which looks likely. And that's a very bearish bar on Friday. They dumped it on Friday. That was triple witching, by the way. No, it wasn't. We've had triple witching. What am I talking about? Triple witching would have been not the 13th. Would have been the 20th. Here. Need to be cautious. As you don't need telling that. You know that. Let's have a look at anything else you want to look at. In non-farms, yeah, on Friday, yeah. So salt's already had a push up from on the 16th of Feb, coming back for another test of that. I'm in this one, which owns a chunk of salt. Is this something capital? I've forgotten the name. So I'm slightly underwater in this one. I bought at 7.5, and then we're at 6.9. But they own quite a chunk of salt, so if salt can pick up, then hopefully I can benefit. I'm going to need that. Need a genius to see. I'm going to need that to go back above 7.5. Otherwise, we're going to hit 6 and lower if I don't start coming out of that. Right, very fragile. Let's leave it there. So to sum up, The banks are looking interesting. They've pulled, well, so many stocks have pulled back. I'm steering clear of anything to do with travel and retail and property, but just monitoring pullbacks in US tech, and based on what we discussed, looking at banks in Genta. Okay, ING. So we've got Chemring. Right, Chemring looks interesting as well. That's a big level of support on Chemring. ING. The software guys have been hit very badly, haven't they? Why can't I find that? Let's spell it out. In Genta. Right, got it. Yeah, because if you look at Softcat, they're all of them are getting hit, US and UK. I don't like this. Is this an AIM stock? No. The very low volumes of it is AIM, right? I mean, for me, that's got to close above 90 soon in the next couple of days. Otherwise, we're going to hit 75, 76 and lower, particularly as the volume is falling off. I'll make a note of this one and make sure we put it up next week. Right, just look at my notes. No, that's it. All right, well, thanks for your company. Hope that helps. Any more last call for stocks? Otherwise, I'll leave it there. Okay. Wise. Yeah. Why? I've looked at this in the past. This is payments outfit, isn't it? Yeah, this is a better chart than some of the charts we've just looked at, in that, let me just get rid of this and start again. Yeah, so we had a decent spike up on the 20th. So it's okay, so we've been range bound for the year so far. Sitting on support, decent volume is all right. Yeah, so we're just sitting in this 20th of Jan bar. If I arrange that bar, you'll see we've done nothing but to move around inside that pink range, that 20th of Jan range. Yeah, just a bit concerned that the volumes are still not great. We had decent volume late Feb. It looks all right. Again, I'd need that to go above 940, 950 in the next week or so. And then, of course, we've got all that resistance from the 20th of Jan at 980. I mean, if it breaks, it's a potential bull flag because it went on a massive run in 24 and early 25. It's got a habit of pulling back until April. Look at this. It ran up into January, fell back, and it didn't pick up until April 25. I mean, a lot of stocks didn't, but yeah, I just wonder if it's all right that ticks a few boxes. We just need to get that above 930, 935 plus. And then it might recover back to 10 and 12. All right. Thanks, guys. I will talk to you soon. Bye for now.